Once hailed as one of the most ambitious open-world zombie games of its time, Dead Island emerged from the shadows in 2011. Now, it's 2025, and we're asking the question, does Dead Island still hold up?
Voodoo, bitch. Hide your kids, grab your wife, better get out of sight. Voodoo, bitch. Let's go. Sam B to Papa Shango, I'm very Samedi.
Back in 2011, Dead Island dropped with one of the most emotional trailers ever. Slow motion, sad piano, little girl flying out of a window, masterpiece. And then the actual game dropped. And let's just say the trailer deserved an Oscar. The game, maybe a participation trophy. Developed by Techland and published by Deep Silver, Dead Island dropped us into the tropical hell of Banoi. Paradise turned to nightmare. Its melee-focused combat, RPG elements, and co-op gameplay set it apart in a genre filled with shooters. Let's give a special nod to that zombie. The night after a wild party. You know, one of those wake up next to a zombie kind of nights. 4 strangers suddenly become humanity's last hope. First up, Sam B, a rapper with one hit single and a fist that hits harder than his record sales. Then there's Xian Mei, a hotel receptionist by day, Hong Kong spy by night. She'll check you in and take you out. Logan Carter, former football star, threw his career away, literally, in a car crash. Now he's throwing knives instead of touchdowns. And finally, Perna Jackson, ex-cop, now bodyguard for hire. She protects VIPs, punches zombies, and doesn't take crap from anyone. They soon discover the island's nightmare, a ruthless virus sweeping through the population, transforming once normal people into savage, flesh-hungry monsters. Just as things go full zombie buffet, our heroes are nearly torn apart by a very unfriendly local, until they're saved by the real MVP of the beach, John Sinamoy, lifeguard hero. Probably doesn't get paid enough for this. Turns out, our survivors are basically zombie-proof, immune to the infection. Lucky them. With the voice ghosting them like a bad Tinder date, Sinamoy becomes the new boss and sends them out to scavenge supplies and phone a friend from the outside world. Ah, scavenging, the fine art of digging through other people's junk during the apocalypse. Scavenging in Dead Island is a magical experience. One moment you're admiring the ocean view, the next you're getting slapped by a half-naked zombie in flip-flops. And nothing spices up exploration like Barry the acting zombie jumping out when you're low on stamina and full of regret. And then you realized Dead Island, a place where the dead walk and the living just lie around waiting for you to do everything.
Hey, stranger, my wife's in danger. 47 miles away, surrounded by zombies. Can you get her a juice box?
Can you, go get my necklace from that hotel? You know, the one swarming with the undead.
Yes, darling. Look at this guy. He's not even looking at me and asking for help. I mean, bro, at least pretend to care I'm risking my life out there. What a world. Without hesitation, they pack up and head to the city of Moresby, because obviously the solution to a zombie outbreak is more zombies. Joined by Jin, daughter of a bitten mechanic who upgraded their ride like he was auditioning for Mad Max, Island Drift. They crash through the resort gates and into Moresby, where the undead are throwing a citywide block party and nobody's invited. Their welcome party? A special infected known as the Ram. Basically a zombified linebacker in a straitjacket who skipped leg day never. After turning the Ram into roadkill, our squad stumbles across a holdout church. Inside the church, your deepest fears come to life. An evil-looking nun makes the crew into everyone's helpers. They hand out medications, fix up generators, and deal with zombies. The typical routine. While running an errand, you come across some surprising enemies. First, one suicider. You don't fight a suicider, you run. Or if you're brave or dumb, you shoot from a distance. Get too close, and well, your screen's going red and your limbs are doing cartwheels. Second one, floater. Some say floaters were infected who fell into chemical waste or stagnant water, mutating at a faster rate than others. Whatever the cause, one thing's certain, they're not walking corpses anymore. They're biological weapons. Yup, that's not water damage, that's floater juice. After barely surviving the local hospitality of Moresby's infected nightlife, the survivors stumble back to the resort, sunburned, exhausted, and probably smelling like expired canned beans. But hey, good news, that mysterious voice on the radio finally reveals himself. Colonel Ryder White, a man with more secrets than sunscreen. Turns out White is stuck in a top-secret prison. But here's the catch. The prison is tucked away somewhere deep in the jungles of Banoi, because walking into danger is basically a full-time job now. So White tells them to find a sketchy smuggler named Moen, who probably charges extra for jungle travel and emotional trauma. Moen's like, prison? Nah, let's go visit some nerds in the jungle first. At the lab, scientists say the virus is mutated Kuru and ask the survivors to dig up a mummy. While grave robbing, they also crash a tribal sacrifice and save Yurima, jungle damsel in distress. Moen finally agrees to the prison trip, but before they leave, Colonel White's like, oops, lab went full zombie apocalypse. They rush back, find Yurima alive, everyone else dead, snatch a maybe vaccine, and speedboat off to Prison Island like it's spring break with zombies. Just as the survivors are about to meet Colonel White, bam! Knockout gas in the elevator. They wake up to Kevin, a tech-savvy prisoner who's like, yo, White stole the vaccine, wants to nuke the island and bounce with his zombie wife. They sprint to the rooftop, only to get held at gunpoint by White. Jin, fed up with his nonsense, unleashes his undead wife like, here, deal with this. She bites him. White freaks out, kills her, shoots Jin, then jabs himself with the vaccine, which fast-tracks his zombie evolution. Mutant White shows up, the survivors lay the smackdown, and they finally fly off Banoi in his chopper, while Kevin goes all ominous narrator.
As long as the world is the way it used to be.
It's not, and never will be. Trust me.
Dead Island's story is so bad it's good. Cheesy but entertaining, flawed but memorable. Perfect for fans of fun zombie chaos who don't mind a little narrative nonsense along the way. Dead Island is aging, but not dead. Its melee-first zombie combat, semi-open world, and weapon crafting still bring the fun, but the cracks are definitely showing. In 2025, Dead Island still delivers brutal, satisfying melee combat. Crushing skulls, slicing limbs, and kicking zombies doesn't get old. But let's be honest, the mechanics feel clunky by today's standards. The parkour is non-existent, and enemy AI hasn't aged gracefully. Despite being released way back in 2011, Dead Island's open world actually holds up surprisingly well in terms of variety and atmosphere. It doesn't have the verticality or parkour of Dying Light, but it delivers diverse zones with distinct vibes that keep gameplay fresh. First, the Royal Palms Resort. Gleaming pools, white sand beaches, and luxury bungalows. Frozen in the moment, panic erupted. As you step through the broken gates, the laughter of tourists has been replaced by distant screams and the shuffle of the undead. Next, the urban sprawl of Moresby, a sprawling slum turned war zone. Narrow alleyways choke with debris. Burning cars light the night sky orange, while rival survivor factions wage turf wars. The air is thick with smoke and dread. Beyond the city's crumbling walls lies the jungle, a lush cathedral of green where sunlight filters through ancient canopies. Waterfalls cascade into hidden pools. But beauty here is a deadly lure. Tribal villages and abandoned labs whisper secrets of the virus's origin. Finally, the fortress on Prison Island. Massive gates, cold concrete corridors, and high-security cells mark your approach. Here, in the heart of the outbreak, you'll face your greatest challenges, and maybe, just maybe, a cure. Dead Island might show its age in places, but there's still something special about hacking through hordes in paradise. If you're looking for a fun, brutal, and nostalgic zombie experience, it's worth diving back into Banoi in 2025.